Nomadic Empires don't have access to most megastructures. Instead, they have by far the strongest Ascension perk in the game, the Wanderlust. It gives great bonuses to your jobs, navy, and when you complete all of the categories, you get +2 districts and reduce the cost of all traditions by -10%. However, it does not give you anything when you pick it, thus the earlier you can finish it, the stronger your snowball is going to be. The bad part is that the perk itself is not transparent at all about what you need to do. Therefore, I compiled the best ways for you to complete the Wanderlust in this video, so you can leave this guide knowing exactly what you need in order to complete it, and thus you can better prepare your own game plan. Quick report from High Command before we dive deeper. Most of you watching aren't officially enlisted yet. If this run gives you ideas for your own games, subscribe and join our Navy. First, just a quick overview of the Ascension perk. It is only available to Nomadic Empires and initially it doesn't give you anything. However, it starts a task where you have to complete a total of 8 categories in order to get specific bonuses. These categories are random systems that you have to visit with your arc ship. It can't be a science or military vessels. Some of these systems will be dangerous like Marauders, while others will be peaceful like Enclaves. Each category has its own class of systems, but the game doesn't show which systems belong to them. Therefore, we are left in the dark and can't plan where to go first. However, rest assured that we will go over each category and I will give you my opinion on what are the easiest ones. There is also a special healing trick that will massively speed up your progress. Another hidden information in the game files is that the game will track how many systems are there for each category, but it will only require that you explore 80% of them. So if a category shows 5 systems needed, there are actually 6 in the galaxy. If it shows 8, there are 10. This is a lifesaver because it means you don't need to chase down every last system. If one is blocked or requires jump drives, you can skip it and still complete the category. Now, regarding the special trick, you must find the Curator Enclave. At first, it does not show, but after you gain 30 opinion with them, the option to hire Curator Guidance will appear. It costs 2,500 trade, not that much, and they will give you a location belonging to a random category that you have not completed. In order to know the system, you go to the Situation tab and scroll all the way down until you find the Guidance system. It has a very low cooldown of only 6 months, and the good part is that you can keep hiring without exploring the previous one. That means you can basically hire this every 6 months and eventually you'll know all the systems that you need to go. This is extremely important because if you find the curators early on, you can focus on other aspects of your gameplay, just hiring the curator's guidance every once in a while, and then you have them all mapped out and you can trace the most optimal path to explore all the systems. Therefore, commanders, try to find the curators as quickly as possible. Now let's get to the exploration. There are a total of 8 categories, so let's start with the first. Explore Ancient Wonders. This one is relatively easy. You need to visit these specific systems or capital systems of Fallen Empires. My personal preference is to go for the Fallen Empires, but always keep looking for the other ones. These specific systems are not guaranteed to spawn in all of your gameplays, and most of them won't, so you have to rely mostly on the Fallen Empires. The best Fallen Empire is the Hive Mind one, since they have 3 splintered nodes, and each node gives you 1 explored Ancient Wonder. So, from 1 Fallen Empire, you already get 3 systems. Very good. When you finish this category, you get plus 10% job efficiency for your Unity jobs. Explore Antique Threats. This one is also not that difficult, but a little harder than the previous one. You have to explore these dangerous systems. My suggestion is to focus on the Leviathans, since they represent the vast majority of these systems and are available at the start of the game. The L cluster, for example, will only be available once you open the L gates, which takes time. Although it might seem dangerous to send your arc ship inside a Leviathan system, keep in mind you only need to enter it. Thus, you can enter the hyperlane and instantly jump back to your previous system without actually engaging the Leviathan in battle. The tricky part is finding all the Leviathans, which are a little bit harder than the Fallen Empires, since the Fallen Empires establish contact with you from very far away and you get instant knowledge of where their capital is. this. A good thing is that once you find these Leviathans, you can ask the curators for extra damage against them, and as you may already know, after you defeat a Leviathan you get powerful bonuses. Thus, by knowing their locations very early on, you can already take advantage and destroy them with the combined help from the curators. So you're basically scouring future targets while completing Wanderlust. The finisher effect gives you plus 10% sublight speed, which is quite good to help you explore more systems and kite your enemies in battle. Explore Enclave systems. This one is quite hard in my opinion, not because the Enclaves offer a threat or are hard to find, but because there are so many of them and they are very scattered across the galaxy. Once you establish contact with any Enclave, you already know where all of their systems are, which is good, but there are many different Enclaves with many different locations. I suggest you don't focus on this one, especially because the finisher effect is better into the late game. You get plus 10% naval capacity, which at the start of the game is not very helpful since you don't have lots of naval capacity anyway for it to make a significant change. I advise you to focus on the other categories and eventually you'll pass near an Enclave system. Just remember to quickly sneak into their systems to explore it and go back to your exploration path. Explore Forerunner Vestiges. This one can either be the easiest or the hardest. It requires you to explore only one precursor home system. The key insight here is that it doesn't need to be your precursor, it can be anyone in the galaxy. Therefore, sometimes you might even complete this by accident. Finishing precursor event chains take a lot of time, and finding random precursor home system is basically gambling with very low odds. Thus, my personal preference is to leave this to the curators. Eventually, they will give you the location of a precursor system, you just go there and complete it. The finisher effect gives you plus 10% job efficiency to physicists. Explore Galactic landmarks. This one is medium difficulty. It requires you to explore these specific systems or systems containing ruined megastructures and gateways. From personal experience, it requires a little more systems explored than the antique threats, the Leviathan ones, and it is also harder to find ruined megastructures than it is to find Leviathans. You can make this category easier by having more gateways available at the game settings. Also, if you are in a multiplayer game, this category might be extremely good as you can point out where are the ruined megastructures for your settled allies so they can repair it. The curators may give information about where these ruined megastructures are if you haven't already found them. Thus, it gives you a very good edge like the Leviathans, where the bonuses from finding these systems usually outweighs the finisher effects, which in this case is plus 10% job efficiency for engineers. It is very good though, as engineering research is the most important one for Nomadic Empires. Explore Marauder systems, by far the hardest one on this list in my opinion. It requires you to enter Marauder systems, but it will only count those that have this icon showing that it has a military station, otherwise it won't count. These systems are the most well fortified Marauder ones, and the Marauders are very strong. Also, unlike the Leviathans, they are usually spread across the entire system, which means there isn't a clear window where you just enter the system and go back unharmed. In the early game, your Archship will most likely take heavy hull damage and cause extreme devastation, massively reducing your job output and causing terrible events. This category also requires you to enter a lot of Marauder systems, so you'll take this heavy damage multiple times in order to complete it. The finisher effect gives you plus 10% ship fire rate, which is a nice bonus, but in my opinion it's not worth it to sacrifice your early game for that. Later, once you have more fleet power, you can enter those systems to either destroy the Marauders or just explore and leave quickly if you're tanky but not strong enough to defeat them. Explore natural spectacles. This one is medium difficulty as you need very few systems, but they are not guaranteed to spawn in every galaxy. I looked at the game files and got all the systems in this category. My personal preference is to treat this category the same way we did with the Precursor. As there are so few of them, asking the curators might be the fastest way. A good trick that you can do is just trade active sensor link with all the empires that you have contact with. This will give you enough intel to know the system's names, and you can press Ctrl F to search for any given system that you have intel on. Thus, you can enter the names on this list in order to find where they are. If they don't appear, it either means that they are not present in the galaxy or that you and your allies haven't found them. The finisher effect gives plus 10% way station collection efficiency, which is a good bonus for the mid and end game, but not so game changing in the beginning when you get most of your resources from harvesting. The Explore Space Ecology category, this one requires you to find the home system of space faunas. It's rather easy as many of us already know the key systems: a Moralville, Tianavac, T1 Void Worm nests, which are always located in black hole systems, the crystal entities, which are always located in a pulsar system, the mining drone home system, which contains a gigantic amount of mining drones. My suggestion is to prioritize black holes as they are easy to spot on the galaxy map and you have a good chance of finding either the Void Worms, Curator Enclave, Marauders, and even some Leviathans, which can help you in the other categories. The finisher effect gives plus 10% job efficiency for biologists. This is the complete list of all the categories by difficulty order in my opinion, commanders. I hope that it helps you plan your nomadic journey and understand how the Wanderlust Ascension Perk works. This perk can be extremely good if you manage to complete all the categories, but as we saw, there are some like the Marauders that will probably take some time to finish. The good part is that for every system explored, we gain a fraction of the finisher effect, so you already start gaining something for every new addition to your catalog. If this guide helped you out, leave a like because it also helps me out a lot, and as always, commanders, I'll see you guys next time!